Welcome back all. So today we are going to create a header which we will use in order to actually send a mail. Now this has been, I wouldn't say a difficult choice, but the decision has been made to go with PowerShell instead of creating custom headers, libraries, etc., and using external libraries to actually send a mail directly from C++. Sending a mail directly from C++ would be a challenge to say the least. So we instead will use the PowerShell script, which we will invoke from this program and create as well. So the script will be created in C++ and it will be invoked from C++. PowerShell comes installed by default from Windows 7 onwards, so no worries there. There was a possibility of creating our own method of sending a mail directly from C++, as I said, but no. The encryption alone would be like with SSL libs another million lines of code. So yeah, let's just go with PowerShell script. I think you shall agree with me here, as PowerShell script is like maybe, I don't know, let's say 100 lines of code, probably less than that. Anyway, as I've stated in the introduction for this entire course, the keylogger is actually designed from Windows 7 onwards to work with Windows 7, 8, 8.1, 10, and possibly with some other releases of Windows in the future as well. Didn't really feel like making something that would work with XP or something like that. I don't think that there would be really enough demand for it from my students in general. So, in order to send an email, a file to go through the email, we need to have a remote server. I mean, I'm sure that you all have some sort of an email somewhere. And to send an email, we would have to implement a mail protocol, SMTP. That's what SMTP stands for, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It is used to send mails between mail servers or computers, basically, when you log into your email somewhere in the world and then you send the mail to somebody else. That is the protocol that is being used. The default port number is 25. It can be a very long and complicated process, especially with the encryption today, because we cannot use the secure layer, SSL or TSL. TSL is used by Gmail to send mail to secure mail servers, for example, the gmail.com. To do that, we need to implement in order for us to be able to do that, we would need to implement our own SSL TSL library or use an external one. Both options are out of the question. To create our own would take a ridiculous amount of time, plus it would need to be released for a while to ensure that there are no flaws, or use an external one, which is again not an option because we don't really feel like installing anything. The same thing is for send. I mean, you could basically find a mail server somewhere out there that does not use a secure layer, that does not use any sort of encryption. But again, we would need something for the SMTP protocol, which is again some sort of an external library or something custom made by us, which would substantially increase the size of this keylogger. I mean, the size of this keylogger will grow substantially anyway with all the additions that will be made to the existing things. But I mean, yeah. We will use an external program to send mails. Program that is pretty much 100% installed on, as I said, from Windows 7 onwards. This is Windows PowerShell, and below we're going to analyze a PowerShell script that will be printed to our directory and then called upon to send mail. Of course, there is always a possibility that you yourselves use an external library to send mails or implement your own, but I guarantee it to you, it will be a very painful process. The script and functions to call will be defined here, and I will explain a little bit about the script, but I will also, I think I shall include the PowerShell script somewhere in in the additional resources in this particular video or something like that, so that you will be able to actually take the script, because you will see why very soon. I mean, you actually have to create the script as a string in C++, which is this is like it'll be a nerve-wracking experience. I personally will just copy paste it from the notes, but it is a nerve-wracking experience to actually type it in C++. Anyway, that PowerShell script will be sending those mails, and we will be using some of our own headers that we have created, like timer, to set the intervals when it will be sent, and we will also be using the helper as well, input, output, header, all of these things that we have created before in order to proceed with this. Also, please, if somebody else has any sort of suggestions on how one can send mail, some innovative ways, or how you can deliver information from point A to point B, let's say our keylogger needs to deliver information somewhere else, feel free to post it in the discussion section. Actually, send me a PM as well. I would be happy to look at that. And if anybody has any sort of innovative ways of doing this, please feel free to suggest it. Just send me a PM and I will take it into consideration. Thank you. I just want to give this short intro video for this. We're going to jump into code immediately afterwards, but I felt like I should really explain beforehand, why are we using PowerShell? Why is it going that way? Where will PowerShell work? Where it will not work? Why is it a really complex procedure to use these custom libraries for encryption? And just how difficult is that to do, etc. So let's go into the next tutorial and actually start code.